Hi guys, Ryan here and welcome to the workshop. A couple of you have been asking about my new Oakley ARO3 helmet, and by this time I think I've ridden it enough to give some feedback. So what this is essentially a vented helmet designed for climbing and slower speeds, and I have to say I don't have or have used many of these helmets. Back in the day I had a Boa Closure, which is an excellent helmet for sure. So how does this compare? Well, it's not as light as the POC, doesn't have as much coverage, but it has some pretty similar design clues as far as the venting goes. And it's a whole lot cheaper as well, with an integrated MIPS liner. Now this helmet wasn't designed without the liner, so it was just basically slapped on later on, but it was designed with a liner from the ground up, and that's definitely a good thing. Another neat feature is the Boa Closure system. I have this on two of my helmets now, and it's much better than the regular retention systems. This one is a bit more special in a way that it doesn't just tighten at the back of your head like a rock lock, but it replaces the whole plastical thing, and all you have basically is this string tightened against the whole perimeter of the helmet basically, and the inside, together with this nice little thick aesthetic brow pad. Now, one common problem I have with my aero helmets riding at slow speeds is my sweat dripping from my forehead into my sunglasses. With this thing, I didn't really have this issue, and I'm really glad about that, because the first time I wore this helmet was in a 5+ hour mountain bike race. It's an awful lot of climbing, and in quite humid and warm conditions I never really overheated. So I think if you consider that, then I can say that ventilation is definitely a good design on this helmet. Perhaps I will welcome a little bit more venting on the back of the helmet, so some exhaust ports. This seems to be quite closed up, but I never really felt any hot spots on the back of my head while riding. So yes, that's definitely fulfilling the promise of a well-ventilated helmet. Yeah, so the Boa dials, another very neat feature of that. On basically all of my helmets previously, the arms of my sunglasses were interfering with the closure system, and this basically eliminates that, so that's very nice. The downsides that I found in this helmet: you get quite a lot of exposed EPS foam, so it may be quite fragile if you don't take good care of it, if you just throw it around. Then another thing, there's this adjustable, well, there are 3 positions for the back cradle, or the cradle on the back of the helmet. Well, I just wasn't really able to adjust this because I was too afraid to, when I pop this off, that I tear something. It goes, it doesn't go very easily. So I just left it in the first uppermost position. That's how the helmet comes as standard, although I would really like to have it in the bottom position. Maybe I'll do that later on. So that's not very good. The helmet itself could be lighter. As I said, the POC Octal is much lighter than this, using roughly the same shape, but has much more coverage. So that's an area they could work on, although I have to admit that this costs much less. Even compared to the Giro Synth, Boa Closure, as I said, and other high-end helmets, it's quite well priced, and it definitely has a very high quality premium feel and look to it. The straps are very nice, sit flushly against my head, so that's another good point. One other thing I've noticed with other MIPS helmets is that the liner is quite loosely fitted in the helmet, so it's easily tweaked. So you have your helmet, the wrong way, tilted or something, and wiggles around when you're riding along, particularly with my heavy time trial helmet. In this one, it's completely stable and you can't really notice it. Yeah, so another thing I've tried is the eyewear port. Well, I wasn't really confident in that, so I just didn't keep my sunglasses in there and put them on the back of my head. Overall, pretty good quality helmet. I like the design as well, but definitely could be improved. So it's a good choice, but I wouldn't say it's the absolute best you can find. Well, maybe the Giro Synth or something like that, or the new Aether perhaps, although at quite a lot higher price point. But I've yet to try some of these. Or definitely the Octal is a top performing helmet in this category. Okay, so this is all about the ARO3. I also have some ARO5s coming up, and I'm looking forward to testing those. If you want to know more about the gear and the bikes that I build and ride, then don't forget to tune into the channel and subscribe. It's all for today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.